Welcome back to my studio. This is Colleen with Designs of Value Art. Okay, so what we're going to do today then is we got the first layer of the leaves on and we're going to let them dry a little bit more. Still a little tacky, but let's go ahead and we're going to do a second coat on those two, a second coat on this one, and then we're going to definitely do this one. And when we get those other ones done, then we're going to take a look at this one and see if we need to do any more to it. So I've got I'm going to go down to a number 2. Yeah, I got a number 2 bright. And we're going to do those small ones in the back first. Now I'm going to show you my palette because I want to tell you how the dryer's been working. The dryer on all of these that I had added dried, so I couldn't use that paint anymore. But what was nice is I was just able, with my palette knife, to pick up these colors and put them on a new palette. So I was able to save those paints and reuse them and make my value scale here, and then I added a dryer to these again so it doesn't take so long to dry. So the dryer is working out fairly well. It's not perfect, but it's doing pretty well. A lot better than just letting it dry on its own, because you could go forever. Okay, so I'm going to do these little ones back here, and they're pretty light. So the mid value is going to be our darkest value, and I'm going to put that in first. And since they're all so small, I'm going to just do them all at once here. I'm just looking at the reference. Okay, I'm going to turn it this way so I can get at it a little bit easier. And this one is actually up here, so we're going to put our mid value, which is actually going to be our darkest value, right towards the bottom. And all I'm doing is using the side of my brush to get into where it needs to be. Even this smaller brush sometimes is too big. With this dark background, you want to be sure and get in up to that other petal, because otherwise that dark green is going to show through and we don't want that. There we go. Okay, so I got those 3 put in. I am going to use some of this up in here as well for when we go in and do that one again. So we're going to do all of those at the same time. I'm going to dry wipe my brush, pull that color out. Now I'm going to go to the next value up, which is the light. Since I've got it down here, I'm just going to start down here. I'm just going to go right around that shadow. Now you don't want to disrupt that shadow, because you don't need to blend that in. That needs to stay the way it is. There we go. And I'm going to turn this again so I can get at it. All we're doing is laying it in right at the moment, and then we'll come back and blend. Actually, I think we'll do all 3 colors and then blend. I think they're so small that it's not really going to matter at this point. Now you could always take this design and enlarge it too if this is too small for you. That's never a problem. Most copiers have the capability of enlarging for you, so that works well too. Okay, so we got the second value in. Let's go to the lightest, which is our highlight. And again, I'm just using the outside portion of that brush. Now this comes down like this. So I'm just going to bring it right straight up. There we go. Just reloading my brush as I need to. Sometimes you need to reload, sometimes you need to wipe it off. So it's something that you have to get used to. Okay. Do the tip of this one. And the very outside edge of this one. You always want to try to reload both sides of the brush, because that way when you run out on one side, you can tip it over and use the other side. And it just saves time. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to dry wipe my brush again. Make sure that all the color's out of it. And now I'm going to just go ahead and gently blend these three colors together. Yeah, and this is going to work out well. I can tell by the way it's covering that we won't have to do another coat, which is good. Just soften it in. Both the dark and the highlight, you want them all softened. Now these petals are fairly light in value. Even when you're doing a small petal like this, it's important to have at least 3 values in there, because values are what creates form. Without different values in a petal, they would be completely flat. And your 3D effect on this wooden surface is going to be very flat, and there'd be no, it would just sit there on the design. It would not come forward. You know, there wouldn't be any values to bring it to create that realistic look, which is what we're going after. We're illusionists, and we want that illusion that this isn't sitting on a board, that it is actually a flower with all different petals. But if you don't get each petal enough values, then it's still going to look flat. So if you're looking at your design at the very end and you're trying to decide what's wrong, you think, oh, there's something wrong, you always go back and look at your values. Do I have enough value in each petal? And I would go petal by petal, especially in a rose. That's important because each petal counts. And see, do I have enough? And the way to look at that is, do I have enough darks? Do I have enough lights? And do I have a mid value? And more values in between. I mean, the more values you can get into each petal, the more realistic your rose is going to look. So that's very important. And it creates these dips and folds. Now, I feel that I need a little bit more dark on this corner just by looking at it. So by going back and adding some of that in and then blending, it makes it go around that corner better. Okay, so now we want to blend that one. I think we're going to do another layer on that one as well, as long as we're doing little petals. Okay, now this one actually has to be blended this way first. Okay, don't go over your shadow. That needs to stay sharp and not blended. So all we're doing is basically another coat outside that shadow on this petal. Shadow needs to stay the same, nice and dark. If you have a hard time blending, you can do like a crisscross, or you can do you can always take, and I'm just looking to see if I have one out here, small one. I should. There it is. You can just take your fluffy brush. This happens to be a number 10 soft brush. It's starting to peel, it's so old. And you can always bounce like you're stippling if you need to get more blending than what you're actually getting with your blender. So there's another trick for you. Okay, so I'm going to do the mid value again as our dark value on this other petal, because this is a little dark for what we really want it to be. There. Since that's our mid value, I'm going to just soften this in here too, because this is the mid value on that petal. Didn't get blended in very well. So I'm going to just fluff it out. There we go. Okay, now let's go back to our highlight. It's our next value. And it's going to go right around that dark center. And then our lightest value. Now this edge is fairly light on this edge, and it comes right down to about there. And we can run that highlight right down this edge. See, now I can tell with those petals are ready that it looks a lot better. That one too, where the shadow is. It needed that extra layer on there. And with that dryer, it'll dry fairly quickly now, which is a good thing. And all I'm doing is reloading. Now what we need on here is down that edge, is we need to go down a value and get that back in here, because we kind of lost it. And if you don't, unfortunately, what'll happen is it comes forward, but it doesn't curve back. And it does curve back, so you want to make sure that you get that in there. Just that one value like that can do it. And if you feel you need more, go down to the mid value again and add that in as well. And if you enlarge this, then you might need to do that. Now I am going to go ahead and add in that mid value because I want that to show up a little bit better than it is. Add something on there, so we'll get that out of there. There we go. And I'm going to just dry wipe my brush. Start blending up here first. Dry wipe my brush as I need to. Take a clean piece of paper towel as you need to. I always try to take one layer because I was taking two, and then unfortunately what was happening is the extra layer I wasn't even really using. And that's not a good thing. So you're wasting product. You're wasting your paper towels. I'm just adding in a little bit more highlight right in here. There we go. Just gonna soften that in all the way down. There we go. Okay, so we got a double layer on that one. And you know, I do think we need to do another one here. I'm going to go up in a size of a brush though. I'm going to go to a 4 flat, bright. And we're going to go to the dark value first. That's going to be our darkest value in this corner. And I'm turning the reference picture around so I can see it the same way that I'm painting it. There we go. Now we can go up to the mid value, and that'll be the next color that we see. Now this one's large enough that we would want to blend as we go. Now right at the very top of that, the center of the petal we're painting, but the top of the petal that we're painting around, we want to get that mid value in there too. Comes all the way over here. Okay, so now I'm going to blend them together. And I'm probably just going to use the edge of my brush as I go. Oops. Went over into that other petal, so I don't want to leave that there if I can help it. There we go. And I'm losing my dark value, so I'm just going to add some more in, which is the dark. two together. Very gently, very softly. Now we're going to go up one value, which is the highlight. It's going to go right up to that other petal. Light to about there. And we want to keep that fluffed out on that outside edge so we can put our lightest light on there and soften it in. All right, now I'm going to wipe my brush. I'm going to blend these two together. Walk your hand back to the number and then just gently pull those two together, pulling out the paint as you need to from your brush. Let's go to the highlight. Which is going to go right to the edge of this petal. If you need to correct your outside petal, go for it. That's what I'm doing. And if we need to, we can use our tool that picks up paint and straighten out that outside edge. Yeah, that highlight value really needs to be redone, so it's good that we did this. Now when we go to blend this outside edge here, all you need to do is blend in the petal, the highlight, and then the light. You don't need to go right up to the edge, so that should keep your edge nice and clean for you. There we go. So I'm going to dry wipe my brush. Pull my hand back to the numbers, lay my brush down flat, and then just gently bring those two together. Your surface as you need to. Getting a new piece of paper towel here. There we go. You want to keep your hand out of what we just put in. Yeah, this is going to be a lot better. It needed that coat. Everything was showing through it, so. We didn't want that. Okay. There we go. Now there's one spot here that I do want to use my pickup tool, which is this guy. And we're going to just straighten out this edge right here. And I think we'll do it right here too, because we painted that earlier. And it won't hurt to have a nice crisp edge to that too. There we go. The outside edge on those other ones look good. Okay. So let's take a look at what we got going on here once. I like that much better. Let me just soften this edge over here a little bit more. It needed that because it was, some of the green was showing through. It's always good to just stop and look at what you just painted to see if it looks good, or do you need to do something else? Like this one needed a little bit more blending right there. And it wouldn't hurt to get a little bit of blending right in here either. There we go. Okay, that looks much better. Let's do this petal. So we're going to go down one value. So this will be our dark. That'll be our darkest color. Turning my brush over to use the other side that I loaded as well. Saving time. Now this is going to be nice because I'm going to be able to clean up that edge of that other petal that we just painted as we go. Okay. So there's our dark value. Let's go to the mid value. That's the next one that we want to lay down in a crisscross fashion. And we pretty much want to go right around that petal we just fixed the outside edge of. That's a large enough area we can blend those two together. It's not going to take too much, and that's the idea behind our value scale, is to keep the values fairly similar in value to each other as they go up the scale, because it makes it a lot easier to blend. Alright, now we can go up to our light value. Now this is going to come all the way down in here to this lighter value. All right, now we can blend those together. And when I'm blending, I don't necessarily feel I have to blend the whole thing. You can blend like this wipe your brush, blend some more. And then if you feel that you need to, you can just pull the whole length. So don't feel that you have to blend the entire thing all at one time, because you don't need to. This just makes life a lot easier when you can do just a little blending at a time, wipe your brush, and then go back and blend some more if you need to. And now we're going to go to our lightest value, which is the highlight. And that's going to be right on this outside edge. I'm just looking at the reference material. I'm using just the tip of my brush to create this outside edge here because it's really skinny where we need to put that paint. It's a small surface area, I should say. I'm just lifting my brush up to use it as I need it. It's amazing how quickly you can go through paper towels. I really like Viva. It's probably the softest, but Bounty would be my second choice that way, I guess. I've done so much oil painting, I think I should have bought stock in Viva. Maybe rich, rich, rich. And again, all we're doing is softly pulling these colors together. Add some more around this edge here. That looks better. It was pretty dark, that petal, so it really needed this to be lightened. There we go. You don't want to cover up your entire shadow there, but you want to keep that crisp, that outside edge. I feel like I kind of lost a little bit of the light, so I'm just going to grab some more and add that in. It's better. So by doing that, my board here likes to bounce, then I need to go to the inside again and soften those together, as well as the outside, both. We don't want to lose that value if we can help it. Okay, so the inside's blended. Let's go to the outside of where I laid that down. And blend it into that highlight. Oh yeah, I like that much better. Now there's one other thing here. I'm going to jump up to the dark value, and as I look at our reference photo, this does create a line in there, and it makes that petal make sense. So roses can be a very strange thing to paint if you doesn't make sense in your mind's eye. So I'm going to actually drop down to the darkest value so that'll show up a little bit better. There we go. And this is also going to make this petal roll in. Anytime you've got something on the back of it that's dark like that, it makes it roll. Turn it this way so I can blend it in. And I was kind of worried about that going up too high, but you know what? Almost goes up to that fold there. So this is going to be okay. And if we need to add more in when we're doing detail, we can certainly do that. Just softening that in. Doesn't need to be blended really, really well as you want it to stay. There we go. See, now that makes more sense to me. It makes this petal fold correctly to hold with the way that's going. Much better. Okay. I think I would like to see just a little bit more of a darker value right up in this area for sure. It needs it on this petal. Yeah, that's better. It makes it go around as well. So now I'm going to just tip my brush up and use the bristles that I need to blend that. Don't need to put your whole brush down. Perfect. Much better. Okay, we're going to leave it there for today. These don't need to be redone. This doesn't need to be redone, although I would like to add just a little bit more highlight there. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to clean out my brush. There we go. Picking up that light. It just looks like it's a line right now, and I actually want it to be a little bit softer, blended in. And at this point, the rest of my surface here is dry, so there's really nothing to blend into because it's all dry. However, now that I have dry wiped my brush real well, I'm going to do it one more time to be safe. I'm just going to take this outside edge and basically fluff it away. But I just didn't want that line there. It just looked like I had placed a line, which I basically had. And this is softening it in much better. I like that. And that's kind of what the stage that we're at right now. We've got everybody double coated the way we wanted it. But now we're just kind of going around and going, okay, do I want that petal to stay the way it is, or do I want to do something else to it? And a lot of that is going to be when we're doing detail too. But I did notice this one before we started painting today needed to be fixed. So I'm glad I remembered to do it. And I'm just softening that highlight in to that back petal basically. There, that's much better. It looks an awful lot more like the design to the reference material, so I'm much happier with that. Okay, just looking at the rest of that petal, I think majority of it's going to be detail work that we need to do. So we're good to go for today. Next time we get back together, we're going to do another layer on our leaves, and that'll make a huge difference in those. And thank you so much. I'll see you soon.